What's up, everybody? I got a weird video for you guys today. I have noticed recently, I've learned several years ago from being in the restaurant industry how to make pickles, like really basic pickles that we would serve on burgers. It's a really simple process, and I could break that down for you guys if you want. It's really easy. But I've noticed that one of the things that's prevalent in making pickles is turmeric. And I've noticed that if you spill the pickling liquid, you get it on like the countertop or even like plates. If you serve a dish that has turmeric in it on a white plate, sometimes it'll stain it as kind of strange yellow color. And it made me think, I wonder if turmeric mixed a certain way and applied to a disc would actually dye the disc. So it'd be like basically dyeing a disc with just household items, regular basic kitchen items that a lot of people have laying around. So I'm going to give it a shot in real time with you guys watching. I have not tried this. I mean, it would have been quite simple for me to do a test run or flip this disc over and put a little on it and see if it works. But I thought it would be more fun to take you guys along for the ride. It might be an absolute fail and not work at all. We're going to play around with it. We're going to do some trial and error, I guess, and kind of make it up as we go along and see if I can't figure out a way to dye this disc using turmeric and white vinegar. So let's talk about all the stuff I have here. Pretty simple stuff. I have, this is actually a red card that I had from a Halloween costume, but it's any kind of like debit card or like a defunct gift card works great. Not 100% necessary, but it'll help in a second. We'll see. I have electrical tape. If you guys have seen my old dye videos, I actually have like a lot of views on them, from my channel at least. I did some basic dip dyes years ago using just electrical tape to make a stencil, like a basic stencil on the disc, and then peeling that off. That's what I'm going to try here, rather than just try to dye the disc yellow. I don't have anything to spin dye anymore, else I'd probably try that. But we're going to lay some electrical tape on the disc, and then I'm going to brush the mixture on and see if that works. Of course, you already saw I have just some basic ground turmeric. I have some basic white vinegar. I use a lot. Scissors to cut the electrical tape. Got a small cup. I already put some of the turmeric in, and I have a paintbrush. The disc, just if you're curious, is actually a blank deco dye anchor that I got from Dave Feldberg. He sent me this since I work with the Next Gen Tour. Should be max weight. Yeah, 177 gold line anchor. Basically, this would be like a deco dye one, but never got dyed. So it's like a really interesting, super grippy feel. It's like a matte white gold line plastic, essentially. So I'm going to put the stripes of electrical tape on the disc, and I'll show you how I do one of those. I won't take you along for the whole ride. It's going to take a little while, and then we'll come back and I'll start trying to mix up the dye. So let's go for it here. I'm going to put the first one straight down the middle, I think is what I'm going to do. And there's actually like a little dimple right there in the center that I can kind of use for this. It doesn't have to be perfect, but I like to give it a little care and try to make it as straight as you can, or however you want it. Oh, that's a little bit off center. That looks pretty centered to me. Yeah, that's good enough. So this whole part is pretty self-explanatory. I'm sure you guys could figure this out for yourselves. I'll leave a little bit of a tab and tuck it underneath on the underside there. Same on this side. And then the reason I have this is that I will kind of use this to make sure that edge is flush and there's not any parts that are lifted up or like a half a bubble on the edge, allowing any of the dye mixture to seep under that. Okay, now I'm going to repeat that process as many times as I wish, kind of just giving me some basic stencils. Then once I'm done dyeing, I'll peel that off and that will be left white. And we'll just have like a basic kind of pinstripe design is all I'm going for here. So I'll be right back. Alright, so it only took a couple minutes. It's not anything too crazy, just a couple of pinstripes on there. It might not be perfectly centered or anything like that. I'm not super worried about it. It's just really, I really just want to find out if this is going to work, to be perfectly honest with you guys. And yeah, one thing that's cool about the electrical tape is that you can kind of pull it and get the lines to curve slightly, because it'll stretch and give a little bit. I went back and like looked real close at the edges and make sure that there's not like a bubble or an open spot on there. So if it bleeds under there, it kind of messes up the stripe, but it's really not that big of a deal. So that's ready to go. I'm also obviously doing this on a cookie sheet here just to make sure that I can try to keep this off my countertop, because as I said, that's how I kind of noticed this might be possible, is that I accidentally stained my countertop, spilling a little bit of pickle juice on there. So I got maybe, let's see, probably a teaspoon or so of the turmeric in here, and I'm going to just start adding a little bit of this white vinegar and see what it looks like, just to get an idea. This might work better if I heated it up, because I know that's part of the deal with, you know, pickle juice, is that it's hot. You get the whole mixture together and you boil it. But I'm just going to go for this and see how this works, because it'll be simpler. That's already mixing up pretty good to my eye. Just mixing it with the brush, nothing too crazy here. Yeah. A lot of the turmeric particles are kind of suspended in the liquid. That's good. That's kind of what I'm looking for. There's probably, you know, if this works at all, there's probably ways to make it work better and things to do that it would be more intelligent, and you know, maybe heat it up. That could help. Maybe mix it up and let it sit for a couple of days before you use it. Who knows? We're going to go quick and dirty here. I'm just going to mix it up with a little bit. As you can see, I have a little bit in there. Not too much. And I'm just going to brush it on and see what happens. Let's go for maybe the middle stripes first and just see what it looks like on here. Okay, so it looks really thin based on that observation there. So maybe I want to add a little bit more turmeric to it. Or it could be the kind of thing where if I just kind of blot it on like this and let it sit for enough time, if I can get enough coverage on here and then just let it sit for like a while, it will it'll sink in. But yeah, it's not looking terribly dark. I think you guys can pick that up on the camera. But let's see. Let's keep playing with it. Just gonna blot a bunch of it on this center stripe and maybe brush some off and see if it looks like it's taking. It's got to be taking a little bit. It does kind of look like it's going in a little, but it's not really making the color that I wanted. Because what I've noticed is that like the color that comes out when you do the pickle juice is that it's actually like kind of neon when it gets on the counter. Like it's pretty bright. It's a pretty bright color. Same thing with plates and stuff. So maybe I just don't have quite enough turmeric in this mixture, and I need to make it a little bit more of like a paste. Play with this a little bit more, and then we'll adjust it and try again. It's actually starting to look like it's taking now, but it's hard to say. Maybe what I should do is brush this on this one section and then wipe it off with a paper towel and see if it took any of the color and kind of go from there. Let's let that sit for a second and then I'll try that. Oh, okay. I think you could probably see that here. This is not like dye, so it's not as dangerous to maneuver and play with, but yeah, check that out. It's definitely yellow, as you can see. That's working. Okay, I'm gonna keep messing with this. I'm gonna put my podcast back on when I was listening to. I'm gonna add like another quick sprinkle of this. Actually, you know what? I'm not. I'm just gonna let it ride. I'm gonna keep letting it kind of soak into the vinegar. I'm going to just brush it on the whole disc real strong for quite a while here. Maybe I'll give it a good few minutes and just sit here and brush it all on there. And then I will come back and we'll see how things are looking. Alright, at this point, basically what I did is I just used the entire little cup of mixture that I had. And I just kept kind of, at first I blotted it on and let it sit in like as much of like a puddle on top of the areas I wanted to dye as I could. And then I just kind of kept brushing it around like this. Just big swipes like that, back and forth all over the disc. And then I also kind of went around the edges here. It's probably going to look kind of funky on the underside of the disc, like around the rim and everything, but yeah, whatever. It's not that big of a deal. I can already tell for sure that this thing is becoming yellow where I want it to. So it's pretty cool. I'm thinking at this point I'm about good. I was going to let it sit for a while, but I don't think there's that much residual sitting on top of it. A lot of the vinegar seems to have evaporated as well, which actually kind of played in my favor. A lot of the turmeric is kind of clumped up, and I kind of brushed it off at this point by continuing to go across the disc with the paintbrush. And now, yeah, a lot of it's off of the disc already. So I think I'm just going to let it sit for just a few minutes, maybe 5 minutes or so, and then I'm going to rinse it off, wash it with soapy water, and then under the water, while the water is running, I will peel off the tape. Probably not as big of a deal with this particular application, but if you're doing like a stencil die or something like that, always good to run the water on it as you peel it off, so hopefully the water will prevent any of that dye from getting onto the spots that you want it to leave unaffected. Remember when I said it would dye your countertop? Yep. Here we are for the big reveal. If you don't like my sink looks dirty, sorry. Kitchen sinks, you know, pretty much the gnarliest place in your house. Whoa. Alright guys. One rinse, and look at how bright that is. This worked really, really well. Oh my god, I can't believe how well this worked. This is awesome. Okay, I am going to wash it with some soapy water here to get some of the residual off of there, get it off of the tape. Although I think all of this process is definitely less of a big deal, because it's turmeric and vinegar, you know, it's not like it's anything dangerous. I kind of like that. One of the things I really didn't like about dyeing discs in the past is just like using the like nasty synthetic dyes, and you know, you're rinsing them down the drain and stuff. It's just not that into that. It's part of my issue with why I didn't really continue doing that so much. I just kind of lost interest in general. Alright, now under the water, as I said, we're going to pull these tape strips off and see how she looks. It's actually too bad I don't have a way to do black on this, because the black and yellow looked really sharp, but I think this is going to look pretty cool anyway. Oh yeah, dude. That is that is hilarious. Guys, this worked so good. Oh my god, this is amazing. I have absolutely no idea, like, how long this will stick around in the disc. You know, it might not last, like it might bleed out faster or like fuzz out faster. You know, some of the dyes will keep a pretty sharp line for quite a while. I have no idea how this turmeric vinegar dye is going to work over time, but that is a really, really nice vibrant yellow color. It looks more neon in person than I think it's coming up on camera. It's hard to tell. But look at that. That's awesome. I'm going to get over to some sunlight, or maybe take you guys back to my review studio with better lighting, and give you guys a quick look at how she worked out, and wrap this up. So here's the finished product. I'm pretty happy with the way this came out. The camera's not quite picking up how bright it really is. It looks like super bright day glow highlighter yellow in person, but the camera makes it look a little bit more muted. But either way, I think you'll agree, that definitely worked, and it worked pretty well. Disc smells a little bit like turmeric, which you might not be stoked about. It might bleed onto the other discs in your bag, but that can always happen. Even just, you can see there's like some marks on this disc just from rubbing against other normal discs, not even dyed discs. You know, a white disc like this will take some of that color, which is interesting. But yeah, overall I think it worked out super well. Who knows how long it'll last? It might bleed out. You know, it's not ideal, but it worked super well. And this is all stuff that you guys might have just laying around the house, that you could go ahead and have some fun and try to customize your discs without having to actually buy dye or worry about any of that kind of stuff. You probably have vinegar and turmeric laying around, a paintbrush, and you can pretty much have everything you need. So if you do try this, definitely post a picture of it to Instagram and tag me, Disc Golf Nerd 1 on Instagram. I would love to see your results, and I would love to share them on my page as well. That'd be awesome. Thanks for watching. Had a lot of fun with this video. I'll check you later. Cheers. Thank you so much for watching, and big thank you to all of my Patreon supporters. If you would like to see your name listed in the credits of all of my videos, go to patreon.com/discgolfnerd.